Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Meets Vodka. I'm your host, Rhea, and I'm handling life one shot at a time. Sit back, relax, let's talk all things pop culture, celebrities, gossip, trends, and let's become best friends. What? I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. Hey guys, welcome back. Did you miss me? Because I missed you. I'm sorry for the delay in the 2026 episodes, but we are back in action. I am so excited. If you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you might notice that I'm wearing a one-of-a-kind, authentic Traitors cape that I got from Dorinda Medley herself at BravoCon. And, I would be jealous too. Today is the Traitors finale. I am having a watch party at Highline Park in Houston, Texas at 8:30 p.m., 9 p.m. sharp starting time. I'm so excited. We have a lot of people coming already. This is my favorite show. It's giving LARPer. I don't care. I'm dressing up. I have the cutest outfit. I'm wearing this like green plaid dress with a cropped white crop button-up long sleeve shirt, a headband, obviously my Traitors cape, and platform loafer heels. Like, I think it'll look good. I haven't tried it on and we're getting down to the wire, but even if it's ugly, I'm gonna wear it. I don't care. Like, I don't have time to get something else. So I'm so excited about that. I love that. If you guys are loving the show, please rate 5 stars anywhere you get podcasts, subscribe on YouTube, follow at coffee.meets.vodka on Instagram and TikTok, share with your friends, tag us in your stories. A lot of my content has gone really viral this year, not to brag, but maybe 2026 is the year I finally get my flowers. All my hard work is paid off. So that being said, let's get into the show. Okay, guys. In really sad Salt Lake City news, we had an announcement yesterday for the passing of Robert Jr. I could not fathom what Mary Cosby is going through. I am so sad for her. I'm so sad for her family. This is our first really, really, really devastating Bravo universe death. Obviously, we had Greg Leakes, who had cancer, and a couple of housewives' husbands, but losing a child, I mean, I couldn't imagine. Robert Jr. was struggling with addiction issues, and he had just been released from jail a couple days prior, I think a couple weeks prior, and he unfortunately passed away at the age of 23. They have been really open about Robert's addiction and his struggles with drugs and alcohol and just the kind of people that he hangs around. And I commend both of them, Mary and Robert Jr., for being so open and sharing his story that really touches so many people in the US and worldwide. And I am so grateful for their vulnerability, but I really couldn't imagine what Mary is going through, and I feel so sad for her, and my heart is absolutely with her. That being said, Salt Lake City was supposed to be filming this week, and it is on pause indefinitely as the whole cast and production goes through this mourning period with Mary, and we're not too sure when cameras will pick back up and if Mary will be on this next season of Salt Lake City. I'm just really praying for her and her family and through this devastating time. Also in Housewives news, Real Housewives of Miami. I have been missing my gals. None of them are nowhere to be found on Real Housewives Ultimate Road Trip, which I hate. Alexia needs to be on there, or Lisa. Could you imagine? Lisa would never make it because she would be so late all the time. But Alexia needed to be on there. No Miami representation. Apparently, they're having really bad production delays and really bad behind the scenes issues. I don't know if that means production or the girls are fighting or contracts aren't being signed. There's no word on really what that means. They aren't on pause. They're just delayed, trying to work out the kinks so they can get back on our screens. It is really, really delayed. Usually they're I think halfway through the season, because don't they go... Yeah, they usually go for Adrian. I know last year they did Art Basel, which is on my birthday, and then they'll go to like the beginning of the year and then they pick back up kind of in the summer and do that whole thing. I'm not really sure about production schedules. I can barely keep up with my own schedule, but we just know that Miami will be coming and the girls will get back on our screens soon. In other Housewives news, Real Housewives of Potomac reunion dropped. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to watch it, but I have seen the clips and they do talk about Wendy's arrest. And Andy mentions like it's going to be hard for you to get out of this. So I do need to go back and watch and like give like a full breakdown of what she says. Now, I will say Ashley clocked her T. She said, I only have one social security. I know people are like hating Ashley and Giselle, but I like them. Unpopular opinion, I like them. I don't know why you guys don't like them. I think that they are messy and that Giselle, much like Luann, much like Alexia, much like any top tier housewife, really knows how to keep Kyle Richards. Well, no, she doesn't, but knows how to keep the story going. And I commend her for that. I love Jizzy. I love her. And yeah, I'll have to catch. I'm sorry. I love Potomac so much. Like, it's an underrated show. I'll have to catch up on it. Karen came on the second part of the reunion and she, has some words for Wendy because Wendy was making fun of her going to jail and now pot calling the kettle black. I always think about that TikTok that's like you point one finger, you point one finger at somebody else and you have three pointing back at you. Like, I do think about that a lot. It does make me stop and think sometimes. So we'll have to see. I'll have to do a deep dive on that. And lastly, on Housewives news, this is like so random. And I'm not too sure what's going on, but Kelly Dodd of Real Housewives of OC fired has been going in on this plastic surgeon. Let me pull it up for you. In February of 2026, former Real Housewives of OC star Kelly Dodd engaged in a heated viral feud with plastic surgeon Dr. Divya Srinivasa. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. I really tried my hardest. Mocking her appearance and calling her lowest of the totem pole and deleted videos. The dispute began after Dodd defended Jill Zarin against criticism regarding the Super Bowl comments. The doctor fired back, leading to further insults and potential legal threats. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, this is so random that like Kelly is like going in on this like random plastic surgeon. Literally Kelly's multiple videos, I stopped at 3, unhinged. Like, she's weird, she's crazy, and it seems on brand for her to be picking random fights with like random civilians. I mean, I'm sorry, she's a doctor of surgery, plastic surgeon, which by the way, you may need. And in the video, the doctor said that she's like double board certified and all these things and has a lot of degrees, much like Wendy from Potomac, I guess. But yeah, good for that doctor. If I ever need plastic surgery, now I know where to go. Okay. Speaking of Traitors, let's talk Traitors. I won't recap the whole season for you because I know normally I go like in on Traitors and I just have been so busy this year in a good way and I feel finally back and settled. So unfortunately I missed all the recaps, but I didn't miss them on social media. So if you guys need to get your fix, go look at coffee.meets.vodka on Instagram and TikTok and you can see my responses there. Portia did post me first frame on her main feed. I love that. She thought it was funny. And oh my God. Also, can I also say like Brooke Snyder follows me on TikTok. And I can't wait for season 2. And it just literally Love Thy Nader makes me really feel like I missed out on having sisters or any type of siblings. And I know that's true. So I can't wait for them to come back. Okay, but they just filmed the Traitors reunion. Apparently, Colton got upset, walked off the set, unfollowed Rinna, which apparently they just had like a wrap party for the Traitors, and Rinna put out an SOS or like an article saying that she was roofied at this party. Who's roofing Rinna at this party? Was it meant for somebody else? Were you meant to roofie yourself? Did you take medication and you just kind of forgot and then you drink a bunch of wine and it made you loopy? Like, I don't know, but now apparently Colton was like attached to her hip at this party. And I don't want to be all like, spreading rumors, but like my disdain for Colton like runs really deep. Something about his eyes and his vibe is just like really sinister, let alone, the stalking and all of the disgusting behavior and honestly terrifying behavior that he put Cassie Rudolph through on his season of The Bachelor. And they got engaged and he had a tracker on her car and blamed it on being in the closet. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't sit well with me. And now he's trying to do like a bunch of PR and being like, no, I'm gay. I'm a father. I'm married now. And, like, oh, I was just so unhappy with myself that like it made me do all these crazy things. I don't know. I don't think your sexuality has anything to do with being insane. I think that's probably just the type of person you are. And I personally will never probably let that go because I think that's fucking scary. And I think when people show you their true colors, you need to believe them. Not to say that like people can't grow and change and evolve, but in this scenario, I'm a little weary. It's almost like a serial killer or like a murderer, like, going to jail and then finding God, which I love that. Sure. I thank God I'm not the Lord. You know what I mean? I don't need that job on my hands. And then, they like repent and they're like super Christian in jail and they're like, no, but I want to go to heaven. I don't know. Something about it is like you're only doing this because you got caught. You know what I mean? Like Colton is only acting like this and like being on this like gay high horse because he got caught and like the whole world hates him. You know what I mean? So he's trying to do a lot of damage control PR and it's not working for me. So apparently Rinna went in on him at the reunion, but she is on a book tour right now. And I saw some clips for the Barnes and Noble tour. And she said that she stuck to only Traitors questions. She didn't bring up the stalker comments and, made little digs like at the Barnes and Noble, which, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I love Rinna. And so, yeah. So apparently she didn't bring up any of the stalker comments, but she did, I think, mention, that he said that he wanted to hold her hostage. And I think she like brought it up. And then that's when like he walked off stage and like got super upset. And then production was like, no, come back. Like, oh, fuck off, whatever, But as soon as I read this headline that Rinna said that she got roofied, I immediately was like, Colton, I'm sorry. A leopard doesn't change its spots. I'm sorry. Like, it's giving, you did it, allegedly. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I find it weird. I find it weird that also Colton is in his camp is doing like this PR damage control of being like, oh no, I was like with her the whole night and like we're good. And, I was like really taking care of her and like just trying to like really get some good press. And I don't even know if this story is true in the beginning, like at all. And if it is, I feel like it was, I don't know. I just feel like it's fake actually, because who is roofing Lisa Rinna? Like a 60-year-old woman. It just doesn't make sense to me. Can't wait for the finale tonight. Like I said, I'm having a watch party tonight in Houston. Please come. We have like so many people coming. I'm so excited. I hope I'm not the only one dressed up, but if I am, I would love that as well. Spotlight on me. I think Rob's taking it. I think there is a slight chance that he could get caught, but I think the faithfuls are on to Eric and thinking that his behavior is really bizarre. So I think Rob is going to turn on Eric and I think Rob's going to take the cake. Okay, so right now we're not sure who gets banished in front of everybody or murdered in front of everybody. That's how the last episode ended. So the finale will open with a murder and then we'll close with whoever wins the fucking pot. Like, I'm so excited. I really do hope it's Rob solely. Right now we have Maura, Mark Ballas, the figure skating twins, Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir, and then Eric, Nam, and Rob. I think Maura potentially could get killed. I think it could also be Mark. It could also be Johnny. I don't know. I really don't know which way they're gonna go. Either way, I'm happy with whatever outcome. This is like the least stressful like last couple of episodes since Dorinda got voted off of Traitors. It has been, which I guess makes like for a bad ending, I don't know. For me, like, I have to take like a fucking Klonopin and watch the show. Like, it works me up so bad. I'm telling you, like, it like my anxiety thrives on this show, and like I just need to know. Like, I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm like salivating at the show. Again, I cannot talk more highly about production. I know nothing about game shows. Like, I could be like the stupidest person in the room right now, but like I just think these are the smartest people to ever walk the earth. Whoever is coming up with all of these challenges and like the different angles of the show and like everything like that. Like, I genuinely think all of the awards, I think that it is just so smart. I don't know. A lot of people are predicting Maura to be banished or murdered. And then I really do think, but when the fire pit comes, I really do think Rob is going to turn on Eric, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I literally can't wait. I kind of feel like a kid on Christmas. And yeah, I'll be reporting back next week, so we'll see. Oh, also, Donna Kelsey was stopped by TMZ at an airport the other day. And okay, what I found interesting, especially about this season, is they cast Donna Kelsey because of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, one of who they are, but also like their wedding is supposed to be this year in June, allegedly. And obviously, obviously I'm a Swiftie, but like very famous people. And they cast Johnny Weir and Tara Lipinski because of the 2026 Winter Olympics. I thought that was really interesting. And again, I'm like the perfect demographic for the show because I did not put 3 and 3 together. So Donna gets stopped by TMZ and was like, oh, I love the Traitors. Like, I had such a fun time. They should have kept me around longer. It would have been better for their careers. You know, like, she's mentioned something, I can't remember the exact wording, but she basically said I was cast because of the people that I know, AKA Travis and Taylor Swift. And like, she's so humble. Oh my God, stop. I love that family so much. Like, goals. Somebody who like doesn't have a family and comes from like a really fucked up family. Like, it's just nice to see healthy. I know everything's like facade, whatever. Okay, I get it. I don't care. It's like, I love it. So she said something like, oh, well, they should have kept me around because it would have been better for their careers. Like, I boosted ratings. Like, we had the best ratings, like on the, beginning of the show and like all this stuff, which is probably true. Power of the Swifties, I tell you. And I just really wish I could have been a fly on the wall. Like, I hope that the Kelseys and the Swifts had like a watch party for like the first 3 episodes, which would have been perfect because they dropped 3 at the same time. And then like Donna got voted off by the 3rd episode. So it's like they didn't have to like get back and like all watch it together. It was just like kind of one and done. So I would have loved that for them. And I hope that they got together. So I thought that was interesting. But she was really cute and humble. And honestly, I can't wait for this wedding. Oh, she also said that Travis and Taylor, mostly Tree Paine, did not make Donna Kelsey sign an NDA because she knows that she can keep a secret. So I wonder if Ed Kelsey had to sign an NDA because he went on that PR when they got engaged. He went on that PR train and was like talking to all these radio shows and talk shows, which is great. I mean, you want your parents to be happy for you. And then obviously they're also not telling Jason because apparently Jason can't keep his secret either, which is hilarious. Okay, love story, JFK Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. I'm obsessed. I am finally into American politics. I am finally into American history. I want to go down a JFK rabbit hole. I know it's actually surprising about like how much I love history. I just don't find the US history being that interesting because it's like not old enough for me. It's still like a little too close to home. But I will say the Kennedys, fascinating family. I have a girlfriend who's like really obsessed with the Kennedys. So I asked her for a bunch of book recommendations and I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I will say literally everyone has said Carol Radziwill's book, her memoir, What Remains, I believe is the title, is the best book, especially for like the perspective and the Kennedys. And she was best friends with John and Carolyn Bessette. And so that will probably be my first read. And then I'll go, kind of down that way. But I will say, people are like, oh, I hate Ryan Murphy, I'm not watching this show. Okay, I guess I don't really watch like a lot of Ryan Murphy shows. Like, I'm not into American Horror Story. I tried to get into All's Fair. I'm not into it. I just like watched one episode and then like I never went back. I'm not into it. I don't have an opinion yet. And apparently he's also like really controversial. It's not that I don't care. It's just like I don't know. I guess I'm not too into Ryan Murphy. I don't know. But apparently he didn't write it and he like didn't direct this. He only like is a producer on it. So he doesn't have like too much say on it, which is why I think it's like really good. And I'm really obsessed with this. Carolyn Bessette and John Kennedy are so toxic, but like magnetic and like so passionate in that way. It opens with them getting on the little small plane that went down. Imagine they were going to a wedding, and imagine they're going to your wedding at Martha's Vineyard, and then like they didn't make it and they died. Like, do you still have the wedding? Also, like, do you postpone it? Do you pick a new day? Is that a bad omen? Like, but it is the Kennedys. So then does that even, is that even aligning with you? Because it's like the Kennedy curse. I don't know. That would like really freak me out, I have to say. I need to know who the couple was of whose wedding they were going to. For some reason, I find that really fascinating. But they went down like a couple of hours, like maybe an hour or less over Martha's Vineyard, leaving New York, or was it Philadelphia, leaving New York? I forgot where they were leaving, but they went down over Martha's Vineyard, and apparently John F. Kennedy got spatial disorientation, and it was like, I think the weather conditions weren't great. It was like a little foggy, and I guess it's like a thing. I was like reading up on this where you like get confused about the sky and the ocean. And apparently he like nosedived into the ocean and killing himself, John F. Kennedy Jr., Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, and Carolyn's sister. Oh, and killing Lisa Bessette as well, Carolyn's older sister, by a year. Imagine the mom being like losing two daughters at once. And apparently I read that like Carolyn's mom didn't like the two daughters traveling together, or like Carolyn had two older sisters, and apparently she didn't like all of the daughters traveling together because God forbid if something happened, then she would lose both or all at the same time. And that did happen because the mom was like aware of the Kennedy curse and whatnot. And I'm going to do like a deep dive on that. I know it's like redundant information, but I just find that like really interesting that like multiple of the Kennedys have been killed in aviation incidents. I find that extremely weird. Also multiple assassinations. So yeah, so there's a lot of history there. But the show is really good. I think the casting's great, although I hate Naomi Watts. Terrible casting, terrible accent. Can't stand it. Thank God she died the third episode. Naomi Watts is playing Jackie O, and it's like the worst accent I have ever heard in my life. I really think it was like such bad. And I like Naomi Watts. Like, obviously she's an amazing actress, and she's like buddied up with Ryan Murphy and is like an American Horror Story and like a lot of his stuff. But wow, could not think of like a worst casting for this. Thank God. Oh my God. Paul Anthony Kelly. Oh my God. We're making men hot again and straight and like style and nice. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. I've never seen a more hot man in my life. Also, perfect casting. Apparently, he was like, he's done a lot of modeling in his past and has really been trying to break into acting for a really long time. And he auditioned for this role, didn't get it. And then they were like, maybe like we'll put him on the back burner, which I think is like insane. Like, who could you have found more perfect than Paul Anthony Kelly? I have no idea. Apparently they put him on the back burner, and they were like, maybe 3 weeks before they started shooting, he got the call and the role, and the rest is history. He's married and has a newborn baby. And now that I know that I found out today that he has a newborn baby, they'll probably stay married for a second. And not that I'm like wishing divorce on anybody. I just know like, I'm sorry, but the divorce is inevitable and it's coming. I hope it's not. I hope that they're soulmates and they're married for like 52 years. Like, I really do. But he is the most stunning man I have ever seen in my life. I want to put it on my vision board. I want to put it everywhere. I want to manifest like that type of man. Like, he's just giving and you know what I'm into? I'm into the guys on TikTok now who are like really taking this like 90s trend. Well, the guys and the girls, like they're, oh, Carolyn Bessette style, minimal chic, like, okay, whatever. But like the guys are now, I've circled, they're probably gay and models, but whatever. But like that, they're getting this like JFK Jr. style, and they're wearing like it's not a beret. I forget what kind of hat it is, but like wearing the backwards hat. Oh my God. Please get hair plugs, wash your ass, grow some chest hair, oh my God, my nipples are hard. Like, oh my God, you guys. The hottest man I've ever seen in my life. So it's a great show. I'm watching Love Story for the plot. Paul Anthony Kelly is the plot. Truly, like, I think it's a good show. I think that it's also more historic than a lot of Ryan Murphy shows, or historically accurate, I should say. So yeah, if you're not watching it on FX or Hulu, you should. Okay. Let's get into some controversy with America's Next Top Model doc. I forgot what it was called. Reality Reckoning. I mean, that's Bethany Frankel. Let me see. Oh, Reality Rechecks. It's Netflix Reality Rechecks, America's Next Top Model documentary. It's with Tyra Banks, Jay Manuel, Miss J, Nigel Baker, and a couple of the other models that were on the show. I will say I didn't watch like all of the America's Next Top Model cycles, but I will say it's only 3 episodes, by the way. I needed way more information, way more episodes, but I will say the majority, like 80-90% of what they talked about, I remember watching in real life. Mind you, I was 10, 11, 12 years old. Tyra blamed us, the audience, for saying, this is what you wanted. You wanted us to push the envelope. We had to change their ethnicity. We had to change their religion. We had to do the murder, like gunshot wounds. We had to do the gang violence, like shoots, like all of this stuff. It was like kind of crazy. Lots of controversy. Tyra doesn't take accountability for much in the documentary. I will say, like, just as a bird's eye view, I don't know. It's like she did make good TV. I don't know. It's like her job. Like, can we separate the two? You know what I mean? Can we separate the art from the artist, or like the job from the person? I don't know. I think reality TV is really hard. I don't think that I would like to be in production. I don't think I would be good at it. Maybe as like an assistant, but definitely not somebody who's like in charge. I don't have like good predictions like that. But Tyra had a vision, and the way that I will say Tyra Banks had me in a chokehold in the early 2000s is an understatement. Life Size, Coyote Ugly, America's Next Top Model, Victoria's Secret fashion show. I mean, she's a Barbie. I was genuinely so obsessed with Tyra Banks. So I get it. Everything that she did to me, I was like, yeah. And like, I'm 5'2". I've always been short and petite, but I thought I could have been a model. I never wanted to audition for America's Next Top Model, but we, literally America's Next Top Model had us in a chokehold in elementary and junior high. Okay. I'm a millennial, so I'm the perfect demographic for this. It was my demographic. I remember, the early seasons or cycles. They say cycles because they do 2 a year. She does say that production, it was her and Kevin Mock. And apparently, she kind of deflects. So it's like, if it wasn't you, was it Kevin? Or, it does say executive producer. So she was a decision maker. She was one of the bosses. It's her and Kevin and then the network. Like, she's second or third in charge. You know what I mean? And she pitched this show and it finally got picked up. And it really was turn of the century, in my opinion, like reality television. That was like around the time we had America's Next Top Model, we had Laguna Beach, we had The Challenge, we had MTV's Real World. Like, we had all of these like cool shows. And like reality TV back then was like way different than it is now. Now it's way more produced. Back then they really just had a camera and a dream. And one of the scenarios that they talked about is Shandy. And I remember her episode, and I absolutely did not register that she was sexually assaulted on the show. They had some guys over, some male models after like a shoot or something. They all got like super belligerent. They got really blackout drunk. She said she doesn't remember consenting. She doesn't remember going in the shower. Long story short, she had a boyfriend of like a really long time and wanted to do the show and then go back and win it and go back and marry him. And this was like the love of her life. And she ended up going in the shower with this guy, this male model. And he took advantage of her because she doesn't remember anything of it. She doesn't remember. All she remembers is waking up and she's like, what the hell happened last night? And, everybody was like, you had sex with this guy. And she's like, what? And then she, had to go to she like requested to go to the doctor to make sure that, she was okay and didn't have any STDs. And she was like asking him if he had STDs and, what his medical history was. And then, she allegedly, quote, cheated on, not allegedly, but she, quote, cheated on her boyfriend. And I remember them framing it that way. I never thought like, oh, slut. Like she was like, people would see me on the street and be like, you're a slut, like, fuck you, I didn't think that, but I definitely thought like she cheated on her boyfriend. So like when I'm watching this documentary and the way that it's they're recounting the story and, they say sexual assault. I just don't remember it registering to me like that as a child. And I probably didn't even know what that was as a child, as like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old girl. And I was a little naive back then. I was a little naive up until 2019, if I must be honest with you. But I don't remember that. And I fully remember the media and everybody committing that like Shandy was a cheater. And I was like, wow, I do remember being like, wow, that's crazy. She cheated on her boyfriend. Like that's fucked up. But I don't know. I would never like slut shame somebody in person at like 10 years old. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, so that was a hard pill to swallow. That was really sad. Her aura seems really sad, and it's kind of like something she never got over. Also, Tyra invited her on her show multiple times to like talk about that and exploit that scenario. She also the next day for the America's Next Top Model show, like I guess she got word, Tyra says that she got word that like one of the girls cheated on her boyfriend or whatever. So Tyra was like, I'm gonna go in like a big sis and be like, yeah, you wouldn't want anybody doing that to you, so you don't do it to that. Just like guilting the group and then being like, Shandy, do you have anything you would like to share with the class? Basically. And anyways, and then they wouldn't let Shandy call her boyfriend to like tell him. And she was like, I need to tell him, like, he cannot find out like on the show, and it's not, I didn't even cheat on him. This is not like what happened. And I feel bad too, because they were probably so young and like, it's just something he couldn't get over and they couldn't recover from in their relationship. And it also seems like something she can't really recover from in her life. And I feel really bad for her for being exploited like that. And I mean, I think they were like 18, 19, 20. Like they were really young. Like all of these girls are just like so young. And then another one that was one of a main, character on this documentary was Danielle Evans, I believe her last name was. But she had a gap and it was very cute, very unique. And Tyra, when they went to go do the beauty aspect, they like do fix your hair and like your teeth and your eyes and like whatever. Eyes, like lashes, makeup, like whatever. She was like, I want you to close your gap. And she's like, I'm not closing my gap. And basically they were kind of going head to head. And Danny was like, so what I'm hearing is if I don't close my gap, I'm going to be eliminated tonight. And then Tyra just like smiled. And so she goes with another girl, Jody, I think, because her teeth were like fucked up. And she was like, I was from like a small town. I would never have money. There's no way in hell I would ever have money to fix my teeth. So she's like, I took the opportunity to fix my teeth. And Jody says that she, to this day, she got like bad dental work done. Like it looks okay, but she said she's had to have multiple surgeries and things to like fix her teeth because it was like done poorly. And then Danny's gap is like closed a little more. Thank God it's not like closed all the way. And then I really loved Danny's perspective. I loved her energy. I thought she felt so powerful. I'm like getting chills. She felt so powerful. I also like hurt as well because, they were saying that like once you win America's Next Top Model, much like in my opinion, American Idol, other than Kelly Clarkson and these like big shows, The Voice, whatever, I feel like when you win these big competition shows, they don't really help your career. If anything, in my opinion, they hinder it. And that's kind of what they were saying too, that like if you want America's Next Top Model, like you were basically blacklisted because you came from a competition show, so you're not a real model. And the only one I think that won that was successful was like Eva Marcel, who was on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but she kind of leaned in more of that like reality TV and just made better decisions, I think. Maybe had a better publicist, maybe had a better agent. I'm not too sure, like, of her career. She wasn't on this documentary, and she did post something saying like, wow, I didn't know that all this was going on behind the scenes. Like, this is a lot to digest. That's what Eva Marcel posted on her Instagram. So I don't know. They also stated that like Miss J had a stroke in 2022 and Tyra has never visited him. He was in a coma, I think he said, for 6 months. He wasn't walking or talking. Now he's able to talk, but he's not able to walk. And Tyra sent him, I think, flowers or like a text, and she was like, oh, I'll come by, and then like never came by. And, I just that was also like one of the saddest things is like, hearing that. And I mean, Miss J, what he says he's like, I'm the spine of the show. He was the spine of the show. I mean, I remember watching all three of them being like, wow, this is great. Also, I will say there wasn't that much heat on Janice Dickinson. I fucking hated her. I hated her. I did not like her mean girl energy. Um, did not like her on the show. I like hated all of her takes. I thought she was way too harsh. But again, I'm 10 years old, so like whatever. Apparently, there's going to be a rival documentary on E coming out March 4th called Dirty Rotten Scandal. So I'm interested to see that perspective and then maybe get like the whole, I don't think Tyra is on that one. So I think Tyra produced or like had maybe involvement with this Netflix special. And then, but I don't think the E one. And then some of the like Danny and Dion who were on the Netflix special are also on the E special. So I'm interested to see both of them and kind of compare and then, get the full picture. Lastly, Jay Manuel put out a memoir about, how horrible America's Next Top Model was. And apparently he wanted to quit and kind of at the height of America's Next Top Model in his career and being on the show, he was like best friends with Tyra. They were all best friends. They were all close. They were all fire signs, which I thought was interesting. And he wanted to quit, and so he sent her an email, and she said something like, I'm disappointed, and then never talked to him again. Basically, the network was like, we need you to sign on for like 3 more seasons or something like that. And then he ended up staying for like a couple more cycles. And then basically him, Miss J, and Nigel got fired. And it was like a big thing. And I will say, after they got fired, I think is probably when I stopped watching because I just didn't like the other judges. Like when they had like the random people that would be in like Janice Dickinson's spot, I didn't like that. Like I don't know. I don't know, something about them three and then Nigel, like I just really thought worked. But that's my thoughts on that. I don't know. And now, Tyra is in Australia doing her hot ice cream. I don't know what that's about. I should do research on that. She also mentioned on the 3rd episode, the last scene of this Netflix reality recheck, she's like, and get ready, we're going to launch Cycle 25. What the hell does that mean? Like, so she's coming back to do Cycle 25? I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work in 2026. Like, I mean, why would you do that when you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have, your own content creators? I just don't see how really America's Next Top Model can work this day and age. But we'll see. I guess we'll see. Oh, speaking of Ryan Murphy, really quick, another show that I'm watching is Beauty on FX, Hulu. And I think it's like a really interesting show. It is with Ashton Kutcher, and he does look like he has Ozempic face. It's also with that guy, Anthony, what's his name from Stars Born in the Heights and Hamilton? Literally amazing actor. He's so great. And it has like a really interesting cast, and it's giving we're hiring you so people will watch. So like we have Ashton Kutcher, Anthony Ramos, I think that's his name. Those are like on the cast. We have Evan Peters, hot as well. But then we have Ben Platt, Megan Trainor, Amelia Gray. Who else is on there that's like very interesting? I just thought that was so weird that they were on mostly Megan Trainor and Amelia Gray, that they were like on Bella Hadid. Which, can I say, Bella Hadid is in the opening scene of the show, of the pilot. No lines. Amazing. Amazing actress. I had to say, like, I thought her acting was so amazing. Also, the tiniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, I really would like to know her weight and what size she wears. She's definitely, dude, she's probably a 0 and 98 pounds soaking wet. She doesn't look super thin. She does look like she, like, has some muscle tone and definition, but it's still a little scary. But she is fucking thin. And just think, the camera does really add 10 pounds. So I can only imagine what she looks like in person. But yeah, I think the beauty is like an interesting concept. It's kind of about like influencer culture and about plastic surgery and about how, they're going to this like one plastic surgeon, and there's like a virus that's going around that like, once you get the surgery, like if you have sex with the person who's infected by the virus, then you like basically explode. I don't want to give it away too much. Plus, I don't really know like what's going on yet, but I think it's very interesting for our times, and it's a good show. You guys should watch it, even if you don't like Ryan Murphy, okay? Summer House. Just a couple of things I want to touch on, which I touched on Dana's podcast, The Bravo Investigator. We talked about Amanda being messy and like Kyle flipping a lid over that. I hate it. They hate each other. Well, Amanda hates him now. Again, I will say, just for clarity, for the pod, for my podcast, I think that they loved each other to the best of their abilities, and it wasn't what each other needed. They're in their prime. Well, Amanda's in her prime, and they just need to move on. I am not super caught up on this season. I've only watched the first like 2 episodes, but so far so good. I think they're doing a good transition. Do I still think it's like a year too late, or like yeah, I do. But okay, whatever. I guess better late than never. I'm loving all the new cast members. I think they came up with a purpose. I think they're more cohesive. I just hate that like 40-year-old people are mixing mingling with 20-year-olds, and then like it's a married couple fighting at a dinner table, and then like new people are like, what the fuck? But then you guys are all supposed to be friends, and apparently like Amanda's the plug to like, it's like just giving like breaking the fourth wall. It's like, I know you were casted. You know what I mean? But it's fine. Yeah, I just think Amanda being messy is like, Kyle, you knew this. You knew when you dated her for 5 years before and cheated on her maybe multiple times before you got married. You knew how she was. You guys lived together. And I feel like, you have the money for a maid, a housekeeper to come multiple times a week, every day, once a week, whatever it is. Like, just hire somebody or do it yourself. You guys are both busy. This is not the 1950s where, you're providing this stay-at-home wife lifestyle. You live in the most expensive city in the world, New York City. You have 2 incomes. Your wife quit her stable job to work for you and to build your business. Mind you, you're $4 million in debt. I don't know what that's about. Loverboy is truly, honestly, the most disgusting. It's right up there with Four Loko, I have to say. It's the most disgusting drink I've ever had in my life. I don't know how they chug it on that show. For me, I would have to like empty it out and like pour water in there, to fake it. There's no way in hell I'm drinking a Loverboy against my will. Like, no, I can't. It tastes like battery acid. And I've said that on this podcast when I've done the Brews and Booze reviews for them. Anyways, I digress. He's also mad that like she smokes weed every night and it has like a bad it inhibits their sex life. Babe, that's not why you have a bad sex life. You have a bad sex life because she hates you and you're like a bad partner, you know? As somebody like who's very sensitive to that stuff. I mean, I'm a woman. I think all women are sensitive to that. Like, if you aren't doing shit for me, if you're not helping me out, if you're not emotionally fulfilling me, it's not juicing down there. Do you know what I mean? And also, I know that you're cheating with me. I don't know where the fuck you are. You're out there until God knows when at the hours of the night. And he's like, well, I had to DJ because we had to have some sort of income because, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then Amanda's mad at me, but I'm like the only one bringing in income for our household. She's working for your company. I don't know. It's giving baby, and it really bothers me. Can I say something controversial? I want to say something about America's summer house sweetheart couple, okay? Wes and Sierra. I do love them, okay? I love them down. That being said, this is a little bit of a hot take. I personally find it really uncomfortable to watch the past 2 seasons of Sierra emotionally tormenting Wes for basically her feeling rejected over their fleeing relationship, short-lived relationship. I'm not discrediting what you guys had because like I've, fallen head over heels for somebody that I've known for a couple of weeks or months or like whatever, okay? Like I get it. And you guys can have that connection, that soul connection, the timing can be wrong. But my thing is this is what I wrote. I said, hot take. The emotional torment and punishment Sierra has put Wes through for a year because she felt rejected for a fling, parentheses, miscommunication due to not having the proper tools to communicate her feelings really doesn't sit well with me. That being said, I'm rooting for them to get back together this season, I guess. I think she's punished this man enough. He's walked on eggshells the last 2 seasons because I do think he was raised right. I do think that he respects women. I do think that he cares about Sierra as a friend, as a partner, as an ex-lover, as a whatever. I do think that there are feelings there. I think that there was some form of miscommunication through their fling. She thought it was a big deal and getting so serious and being in love, like meeting his family. He didn't think that. As somebody who doesn't give a fuck about their family's opinions, it doesn't matter to me. But Wes is close to his family, but they're also like his best friends. So it's like, oh, I tell them about everyone. It's not like you where you've never brought a guy home and now all of a sudden, like if you bring a guy home, this means like you're marrying them, okay? Like, so I hate to say, and like I know she said in her confessional that like she's working on being less rigid, but yeah, girl, like let it go. Like, let's give it a rest. It didn't work out. You've punished him for like 2 fucking years. I'm glad to see them getting back and laughing and giggling and like, being happy. But goddamn, it was like 30 days and 2 years. I don't know. The math isn't mathing, but I mean, look, as somebody who's never gotten over anything in the day of my life, I mean, I get where Sierra's coming from. But I also think that's why therapy is extremely important and to work through those feelings because that's not Wes's fault. And I think the way that she has punished him for 2 summers, 2 seasons, 2 years is just like, it's like enough. You know what I mean? Just my hot take. Don't come for me. You guys, and other really sad news, Eric Dane, James Vanderbeek, and Catherine O'Hara has passed away. I mean, this year, I don't want to say it's not starting off great because it's been great for me, but goddamn, we lost some of the greats. Eric Dane just passed away from ALS, and I think it was under 9 months. It was like under a year from when he announced that he had ALS to when he passed. And oh my God, he was only 53. I just was like, oh my God, wow. I was like really on the floor. It was like really sad. And I was watching like Eric Dane McSteamy edits, kind of like self-soothing. It was just like so sad. And Catherine O'Hara, I can't even believe it. That was so random. They said that she passed from a pulmonary embolism, which potentially was due to colon cancer, which we don't even know if she knew that she had colon cancer. And can I say, this whole big push on social media and the news and commercials and media in general for getting checked for colon cancer, for eating your fiber, for taking in protein. What's happening? I'm getting a bit nervous. It's like colon cancer everywhere, and I'm scared because, like, I don't have regular bowels at all. This is a little TMI, but I'm very vocal about, like, I have, like, really bad GI issues, and it is on my list to go back down the rabbit hole of, going back to a GI. I feel like I just haven't found a really good GI doctor who gives a fuck. They're always like, well, it's anxiety. No, I know it's anxiety, bitch. And I don't know. So whatever. It's on my list, but I just feel like I don't even want to say it, but it's scary and very sad. We lost some of the greats, and James Vanderbeek, I mean, he has 6 kids, and I believe he died from colon cancer, or I know he had was it throat cancer? Some type of cancer. And also, I'm a little, like, confused as to why everybody's making a GoFundMe for celebrities, but that's just different. Anyways, my thoughts are with their families. Weird story. Nancy Guntrie, Savannah Guntrie's mom of the Today Show, has disappeared for almost a couple of weeks now. And I know this story is on its way out, and I don't really want to, like, beat a dead horse because I don't know the ins and outs of the case. I haven't really been following it too closely. But I find it extremely bizarre that she was kidnapped from her house. Her pacemaker stopped working like a couple of days after. She only could live like 6 days without her medication and pacemaker and like whatever. And it's already been like 3 weeks. So I think it's safe to say that she's probably no longer with us. Now, 2 things that I find interesting about this case. 3 things. 1, why is Savannah Guntrie? What's going on there? Like, was it politically charged? I have no idea. 2, Savannah Guntrie wrote in her memoir that she used to play kidnap with her cousins and would like fake kidnappings and then like drive her cousins. Like, I guess they grew up in Arizona, and that's where her mom got kidnapped from her house. And anyways, would like prank call her mom and her aunt or like whatever, and like the family would be on it and then be like, oh my God. I just think that's also really weird. I feel like #white people. Third of all, this is what I think is the truth. I don't know. This is a really compelling theory. I was watching a TikTok of this girl. Can't remember the name. I'm sorry. But she kind of had a theory about the neighbor having something to do with it because he was interviewed through like police cam footage or like ring footage or whatever, and he has like a ring on his like a big like medallion ring, but it's like flat on his ring finger. And she was like going through and he was interviewed and like cleared by police. But then apparently through the ring cam footage that they have of the kidnapper coming in the gloves, there is that same indentation of the ring within the gloves. And when people have like turned on the brightness and like taken it out of night vision mode in black and white, it's like obviously a white person because the rings around the eyes are white. That I think is really compelling. We need to look at the neighbor again. But what would the neighbor want to do with kidnapping Nancy Guntrie? I'm not really understanding this case. So I want to know your thoughts. And apparently, I think this week or in the last couple of days, Savannah has issued $1 million reward for anybody who has any sort of lead or $1 million for a lead. I guess it has to be like, it has to turn out correct, but I'm gonna come up with a lead. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Sofia Franklyn, call her daddy previously, is coming out with a memoir called Daddy Issues. Alex Earl liked the post, which I find interesting. You know, Alex Earl had a podcast with Unwell Network, which is Alex Cooper's media company. Alex Earl now has, which is what we wanted in the beginning, now has a Netflix reality show deal, and they're filming that, which is great. But Sofia Franklyn is coming out with her memoir in the next couple of weeks, I think, or the next month. It's called Daddy Issues. I probably am going to read it because the only time I ever listened to Call Her Daddy was during the whole demise of Sofia and Alex. So I want to hear Sofia's side. She's never really spoken about it. She has her own podcast and she's engaged and she's got her own things going on, which is great. And Alex Cooper has built this multi-million-dollar media company and business, and that's crazy in itself. I need more information, but I will be reading that book. Daddy Issues, I think, is a great title. So yeah, I wonder what you guys think about that. And if you guys have any other information about like the Sofia, if you're like in on that lore about like Sofia and Alex and like the OG, call her daddy, before we're interviewing the Vice President of the United States, like let me know. Because like when I did tune in, it used to be like talking about sucking dick and stuff. And I was like, okay, this is not work appropriate. It's like porn in my ear. And then like I'm getting up to do something. And then it's like gluck, gluck 9,000 on my screen. You know what I mean? It's like not suitable for work, you know? Okay, last but not least, there is a new show that I cannot wait to watch. It's called CEO Club. It premiered on Amazon Prime. It's with Serena Williams and a couple of her other famous friends who are CEOs, but it's all women CEOs that goes like behind the scenes on like how they build their business and like take care of their family and like women can have it all and whatnot. And I am into that. So that's all I have for you today. If you guys love the show, please rate 5 stars anywhere you get podcasts and follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram and TikTok at coffee.meets.vodka. I will see you today at 8:30 p.m. at Highline Park in Houston, Texas. Don't be late. We will be starting and airing Traitors at 9 p.m. sharp, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.